good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in the world. I am just Mike. You are watching and you are listening to episode number 59 of the Rock Out Wild Show, where it is not just a show, it is a way of life. Now, if you are new to this channel and if you are new to this video, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below this very video. You can also like or dislike this episode of the Rock Out Wild Show. And you can also share this video on all of your social media platforms, from your Facebook to your X to your YouTube to your Blue Sky to Snapchat to your Instagram, what have you. Share it all on social media. And also tell everyone you know about the Rock Out Wild Show, from your family to your friends to your coworkers to your acquaintances. Let everyone know what the Rock Out Wild Show is all about. As you see from the title of this very video, I will be ranking every Ric Flair WrestleMania match from the worst to the best. This is just my take, though. This is my list, so this will be my top 6 to number 1. The reason why I am choosing Ric Flair for this very episode is because today is Ric Flair's birthday. So that's the reason why I am doing this main event topic for you all. Also on the docket, we're going to take a look at on this day in wrestling, sports, film and television, and music for February the 25th. And to kick things off, for episode 59 of the Rock Out Wild Show, I will be reacting to an old movie review of mine, a movie called The Loft. I have no clue what this is all about, so let's get right to it. So the first thing I'm going to do is turn on the webcam and say hi to everyone. How is everything going with you all? So me, I'm doing all right. It's a Friday night. It's February the 6th. 2026, as I am recording this video, and this will be aired in a few weeks' time. So let's get right to it. So let's present, share screen. Let's get the Loft, make sure the audio is up. Let's go full screen. And before I click play, let's predict the amount of points I gave the Loft. Now, I don't remember this movie at all, so this is going to be a refresher. I don't remember if I was positive or negative about the Loft, so I'm going to go somewhere in the middle. I'm going to say something like a 55 out of 100. That's my general prediction for this review, so let's get right to it. And let's react in 3, 2, 1, action.
Boring, lame, predictable, with a sleazy script with characters that you don't even give a crap about. Oh yeah, we have a real winner here. Not!
I may have undersold the points on this, but we'll see.
Hey, what's up, and how's it going, all movie fans in the movieverse? Welcome to the Mike McRock Movie Review Show. Right now, I'm going to review a movie called The Loft, and The Loft is about 5 married guys who conspire to secretly share a penthouse loft in the city, a place where they can carry out their hidden affairs and indulge in their deepest fantasies without their wives even knowing. But the fantasy becomes a nightmare when they discover a body of an unknown woman in her loft, or so they thought, and they realized that one of the group members must be involved. And going into this movie has potential when I look at the...
So it's a mystery thriller type of thing. That's what I'm getting from the synopsis reviewing this movie, and let's continue.
Cast, I see names like Carl Urban and James Marsden, even Wentworth Miller from Prison Break, even though I never saw that show. But this is about...
So Carl Urban and Wentworth Miller are in this. I completely forgot they were in this. I totally forgot. Anyway, let's continue.
A lot, and even with the concept of this movie, this is a thriller, And so you're going to have this idea of who done it. So this is going to be a really good guessing game. I like that about this movie. And like I said, going into this movie had potential, and what a waste this movie was.
Oh.
This movie was atrociously bad, and it's not even close.
Oh.
Let's run down the really bad things about this movie. First of all, you have Carl Urban, James Marsden, Wentworth Miller, and even a couple of guys that you might recognize from other shows as well. And two of them are brothers.
Yep.
And the rest are friends. And the problem is we don't get to see how they became friends in this movie. That just falls way to the wayside. So I think that's a big mistake on the part of this movie.
I'm getting a lot of wind in the background, but you know what? It kind of adds to the effect of the movie review anyway.
You never really get to see how these guys became friends. And also, these five guys are complete douchebags, and they are the stars of this movie. And how in holy hell can you get behind these five guys, these five stars in this movie, when they're really the bad guys in this movie?
Oh, it's one of those.
This whole thing is just counterproductive, to say the very least. And to me, this is a movie that, like I said, had potential, but it was wasted. And the acting in this movie was really bad, but at least Carl Urban and James Marsden tried this movie. They really did. Right. The problem is that this movie was very limited in its script. The dialogue was just so cheesy. It was just corny. It was like nails on the chalkboard, the way that they talk back and forth. I mean, no one really speaks like that. It's just horrible. And on top of that, have all these twists and turns around at the end. It gets really convoluted. Nothing really makes sense. This is a dumb, stupid movie, and I think this should be in jail. This movie should be in jail and throw away the key, because this is really, really bad. And like I said,
oh boy,
the acting is bad, the script is bad, the dialogue is bad.
I think I'm going low.
Nothing. I don't really need to say anymore. This is one of those movies where I think if this movie would have just kept it simple, maybe I would have given this a lot more points. But
keep it simple, right? The
only positive I can think of coming out of this movie is that at least it's better than Mordecai. Even that's not really saying much. So with that being said, I'm going to say that The Loft delivered 17 points out of 100. Whatever you do, if you ever even see this on TV, don't even turn on that channel. Skip it. But if you already saw this movie, what did you think about it? Feel free to comment below and give me your thoughts on The Loft. And you can also hit that subscribe button as well to get Mick Rocks.
Okay. First off, I was way off on my points for The Loft. What did I say, 55? No, I completely forgot I trashed on this movie, so... oh my god. 17 points out of 100 I gave it. At least it's better than Mordecai. That's famous last words right there. Oh my god. Normally I would go over stuff like, would I see this movie again, this and that and everything else, but not for this. Because I don't need to ask myself that very question at all. Because I already know what the answer is. It's a pass. It's a hard freaking pass. Anyway, let's continue. Let's take a look at some of the things that happened for January the 25th in the stuff that we know that we normally see on the Rock Out Loud show. Let's take a look at music first, shall we? So let's present, share screen, and let's see what happened in music for February the 25th. As you see, there is a picture of the man, the myth, the legend himself, Frank Sinatra, where he died his way. On this day in music, February the 25th, 1995, Frank Sinatra performed his final concert at the Palm Springs Marriott Desert Spring Resort as part of the Frank Sinatra Desert Classic Golf Tournament. The 79-year-old icon, oh my God, he's 79, jeez, who was once, who was one of the most popular entertainers of the 40s, 50s, and 60s, closed out the show with one of his signature hits, "The Best Is Yet to Come," a title that was later etched on his tombstone. Sinatra's final appearance in front of a live audience took place later in the year during the star-studded 80th birthday event at the Shrine Auditorium. Sinatra passed away in 1998 at the age of 82. In 1956, we go from Frank Sinatra to the king himself of rock and roll. Well, since my baby left me, I found a place to dwell. It's down the lonely street of Heartbreak Hotel. My baby's so lonely, baby. My baby's so lonely. My baby's so lonely, I could die. Thank you. Thank you very much. In 1956, Elvis Presley scored his first number one hit on Billboard's country and western charts with I Forget to Remember to Forget. I Forget to Remember to Forget. Oh my God, what a title. Written by Stan Kessler and Charlie Feathers, the song marked Presley's final single on Sun Records before he moved to RCA. In 2009, President Barack Obama honored Stevie Wonder with the Liberty of Congress Gershwin Prize. Wonder's 1970 single, Signed, Sealed, Delivered, I'm Yours, was the theme song of Obama's campaign, while the 44th president cited the prodigy as his musical hero. Established in 2007, the Gershwin Prize for Popular Song recognizes artists for a lifetime of contributions to popular music. In 1984, Van Halen's Jump began a 5-week run at the top of the Billboard Hot 100. The high-energy song, which served as the lead single of their sixth studio album in 1984, went on to become their most successful hit. It later earned Van Halen their first Grammy nod. Yeah! In 1977, mod revitalists The Jam signed to Polydor Records for just 6,000 euros, I do believe. Over the next 5 years, they would score 18 consecutive top 40 singles in the United Kingdom. We have some birthdays. We have a number of birthdays in the world of music for February the 25th. We have George Harrison, who was born in 1943, most known for the Beatles. We have Doug Ewell from Velvet Underground, who was born on this day in 1947. Born in 1950, February the 25th, Emmett Rhodes. In 1953, John Doe from X was born on this day. Dennis Dickin from the Smithereens was born on this day in 1957. Also born in 1957, Stuart Woody Wood from Bay City Rollers was born on this day. We have Mike Peters from The Alarm and Big Country was born on this day in 1969. Born in 1965, Brian Baker from Minor Threat and Bad Religion. And Daniel Powter was born on February the 25th, 1971. And those are the big headlines from music for February the 25th. Now let's take a look to see what happened on this day for February the 25th in the world of film and television. In 1901, George M. Cohan's first Broadway musical, The Governor's Son, opens at the Savoy Theater in New York City, and it runs for 32 performances. 1940, first televised ice hockey game in the U.S., New York Rangers defeat visiting Montreal Canadiens 6-2 at Madison Square Garden. W2XBS broadcasts to up to 300 receivers in New York City. In 1950, Your Show of Shows with Sid Caesar and Imogen Coca premieres on NBC. Writers include Mel Brooks, Neil Simon, and Woody Allen. Can we wipe Woody Allen from existence, please? That'd be great. Anyway, let's continue. In 1980, British political comedy Yes Minister, written by Anthony J. and Jonathan Lynn, starring Paul Egerton, Nigel Hawthorne, and Derek Fowles, premieres on BBC Two. In 1986, 28th Grammy Awards, We Are the World, Sade, Phil Collins win. In 1990, on a BBC taped interview, American rock star Stevie Nicks breaks down saying that she will never have children and that no man can stand her for long. That's definitely a shot at you don't know who, if you catch my drift. I'm looking at you, Lindsay. In 1991, businessman Bruce McNeil, hockey legend Wayne Gretzky, and actor John Candy buy CFL's Toronto Argonauts. In 1993, David Schreiner and Bill Irwin's comedy review Full Moon opens at the Richard Rodgers Theater in New York City, and it runs for 207 performances. In 1995, we were just going over this not too long ago. Singer Frank Sinatra, who did it his way, performs for final time before a live audience of 1,200 selected guests at the Palm Desert Marriott Ballroom in Palm Desert, California, on the closing night of a golf tournament. In 1996, Strickland's 1887 stage drama The Father, starring Frank Langella, closes at the Criterion Theater in New York City after 52 performances. In 1999, British chef Gordon Ramsay comes to prominence, appearing in the TV documentary Boiling Point, detailing the opening of restaurant Gordon Ramsay. I'm no fan of Gordon Ramsay, but I do love the urban peasant. In 2001, 54th British Academy Film Awards, BAFTAs, Gladiator, Best Film, Ang Lee, Best Director. In 2007, 79th Academy Awards, The Departed, Forrest Whitaker and Helen Mirren win. And also directed by Martin Scorsese himself. In 2016, Seth Rogen and Lauren Miller are honored by Unite for Humanity for their work promoting awareness of and fundraising for Alzheimer's research. Also in 2016, 10th Republican presidential candidates debate hosted by CNN held in Houston, Texas. In 2018, 68th Berlin International Film Festival, Romanian film Touch Me Not wins the Golden Bear. And in 2019, influential film review site Rotten Tomatoes implements changes to its site after internet trolls target Captain Marvel film. We all know how that panned out, didn't we? And those are all the things that happened on this day in the world of film and television for February the 25th. Now let's take a look at what happened for the same day, February the 25th, in the world of sports. And I know there's going to be a lot of them, so let's move on. In 1904, Stanley Cup, Ottawa Silver, 7 sweep Toronto Marlboros in 2 games. In 1924, Marie Boyd scores 156 points in Maryland HS basketball game, 163-3. In 1925, U.S. Men's Figure Skating Championship won by Nathaniel Niles. In 1930, brilliant West Indian cricket batsman George Headley completes Twin Tons 114 and 112 in third test win against England at Georgetown, British Guiana. In 1933, major NFL rule changes. Hash mark 10 yards in posts on goal line. Also in 1933, New York industrialist Thomas Yaki purchases Boston Red Sox for $1.25 million. And also in 1940, well, not also, but you get the idea. First televised ice hockey game in U.S. New York Rangers defeated the visiting Montreal Canadiens 6-2 at Madison Square Garden. W2XBS broadcast to up to 300 receivers in New York City. In 1941, Boston Bruins set NHL record of 23-game unbeaten streak, 15-0-8. In 1952, VI Winter Olympics Games close at Oslo, Norway. In 1957, the U.S. Supreme Court decides 6-3 baseball is only antitrust exempt pro sport. In 1961, Niagara ends St. Bonaventure's 99-game honor college basketball win streak. In 1962, Mike O'Hara completes record 97th marathon. In 1962 also, Philadelphia center Wilt Chamberlain scores 67 points against New York Knicks at Philadelphia Civic Center for the second successive year. Warriors lose 149-135. Also in 60, well, not also, but you get the idea. In 1964, Muhammad Ali wins his first world heavyweight boxing title when Sonny Liston fails to come out for round 7 at Convention Hall, Miami Beach. In 1968, 10th Daytona 500, Cale Yarborough, driving for World Brothers Racing, wins by less than a second from Leroy Yarborough, grid set exclusively by qualifying times. In 1969, pension plan for baseball is agreed to. In 1972, lopsided MLB trade. St. Louis Cardinals trade pitcher Steve Carlton to Philadelphia Phillies for pitcher Rick Wise. Both players were involved in salary disputes with their teams. In 1973, Dutch speed skater Atet Kulen Diestra becomes women's all-around world champion at Stormsund, Sweden, her second consecutive title and third in 4 years. In 1974, Veronica and Colin Scargill of England began a tandem bicycle ride of a record 18,020 miles around the world and completed on August 27th, 1975. In 1977, in New Orleans, Pete Maravich sets NBA record for a guard with 68 points in a game. In 1978, England cricket all-rounder Ian Botham scores first Test century 103 versus New Zealand in Christchurch. In 1981, except Board of Baseball Players Association votes unanimously to strike on May 29th if the issue of free agent compensation remains unresolved. Also in 81, NHL most penalized game, Bruins versus North Stars, 84 penalties, 392 minutes. In 1981 also, New York Islanders give up their most goals versus Calgary Flames. In 1989, Havid Mayandad scores 271 versus New Zealand at Eden Park. Also in 1989, Mike Tyson TKOs Frank Bruno in 5 for heavyweight boxing title. 1990, Australia beats Pakistan 2-0 to win Cricket's World Series Cup. In 1991, Andrew Jones scores twin test cricket tons versus Sri Lanka, 122 and 100. In 1991 also, businessman Bruce McNeil, hockey legend Wayne Gretzky, and actor John Candy by CFL's Toronto Argonauts. We just went over that not too long ago. In 1993, Florida Marlins introduced their mascot Billy. In 1994, New York Yankees shortstop Phil Rutzel is elected to Baseball Hall of Fame. In 1995, British super middleweight Nigel Benn puts opponent Gerard McLean in hospital. In 2018, two-man bobsled champions Francisco Friedrich and Thorsten Margus of Germany win their second gold medals of the Pyeongchang Winter Olympics as part of the German four-man team. In 2018, Marit Bjorn of Norway, sorry if I mispronounced that, wins gold in the 30K cross country and becomes the most successful Winter Olympic athlete of all time with 15 medals. Also in 2018, Norwegian cross-country skier Marit Bjorn wins gold in women's 30K at Pyeongchang Winter Olympics, brings her total games medal haul to 15, most won by an athlete in Winter Games history. Also in 2018, Russian national team competing under the name of Olympic athletes from Russia wins Olympic ice hockey gold medal in Pyeongchang, beats Germany 4-3 in overtime in the final. In 2018, 23rd Winter Olympic Games close in Pyeongchang, Korea. Norway wins a record 39 medals, 14 gold. In 2019, Caitlin Clark sets the Class 5A state tournament single game scoring record with 42 points in the game for Dowling Catholic High School against Waukee High School. Also in 2019, James Harden's scoring streak of games with at least 30 points ends at 32 as he scores 28 in the Rockets' 119-111 win over Atlanta in Houston, second longest mark in NBA history. In 2021, Thierry Henry steps down as head coach of CF Montreal. In 2024, Louis Dumas is an unused substitute in the 2024 EFL Cup final, where Liverpool beats Chelsea 1-0 after extra time. And those are all the big headlines and events that happened for February the 25th in the world of sports. And for the final installment for On This Day, we're going to take a look at professional wrestling for February the 25th. So let's see what happened. In 1990, WCW and the NWA presented Wrestle War 90 Wild Thing from the Greensboro Coliseum in Greensboro, North Carolina. In the main event, Ric Flair defeated Lex Luthor by countout to retain the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. In 1995, you see the return of the Funker. Oh my God, I almost said it. Well, anyway, this event took place at the ECW Arena in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Naturally based on the title of the show, Terry Funk made his return after the main event with a surprise attack on Tommy Dreamer and Cactus Jack. The show's the Invisible Man and Dean Malenko defeat Sabu and the Tasmaniac to win the ECW World Tag Team Championships. In 2021, WWF No Way Out took place at the Thomas and Mark Center in Las Vegas, Nevada. The show featured a double main event, the first part of which saw Triple H defeat Stone Cold Steve Austin 2-1 in the 3 Stages of Hell match. In the final match of the night, The Rock became the first ever 6-time WWF champion with a win over the Olympic gold medalist Kurt Angle. In 2013, on an episode of Monday Night Raw, John Cena and CM Punk wrestled in one of the most acclaimed matches in Raw history. Cena's win earned him a WWE Championship match against The Rock at WrestleMania 29. We all know how that turned out, didn't we? It sucked. It absolutely was atrocious. Let's move on. In 2017, at Evolve 79, Zack Sabre Jr. defeated Timothy Thatcher for the Evolve Championship. That's a name I haven't heard in a while, Timothy Thatcher. In 2018, WWE Elimination Chamber took place at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. The main event saw Roman Reigns won the titular Elimination Chamber match to earn a WWE Championship match at WrestleMania. He defeated John Cena, The Miz, Braun Strowman, Elias, Finn Balor, or should I say Pin Balor, and Seth Rollins in the first ever 7-participant WrestleMania match. Also on the card, Ronda Rousey's contract signing took place. And she's not even there anymore, which speaks volumes. And also in 2018, at Progress Wrestling Chapter 64, Thunder Bastards, Argo, James Drake and Zach Gibson defeat Mark Haskins and Jimmy Havoc to win the Progress Tag Team Championships. We have some birthdays. for professional wrestling for February the 25th, we have Maria Kanellis, who was born on this day in 1982. Also, one of the biggest what ifs in professional wrestling period was born on February the 25th, 1971. That's Sean O'Hare, who died way too young. But this guy is still alive and kicking today, celebrating his birthday. He was born in 1949. The Nature Boy, Ric Flair. Those are the things and events that happened on this day in the world of professional wrestling. And speaking of the Nature Boy, Ric Flair, today is his birthday. So the main event of this very episode is that I'm going to rank every WrestleMania match involving the Nature Boy himself, Ric Flair. So he's only had 6 WrestleMania matches overall. And when I think of Ric Flair and his WrestleMania resume, it's very short. It's not like Bret Hart's or Hogan's or Roman Reigns or anyone of that nature, or even Undertaker's for that matter. It's not a long resume, but with the matches that he had, there's not really a bad match on this list. There are matches on here I love more than others. So, without further ado, let's kick off this list. So, the match that comes in at the very last place, at the bottom, at number 6 for me, is a tag team match at WrestleMania 23 when Ric Flair teamed up with Carlito to take on Chavo Guerrero and Gregory Helms. So, yeah, obviously, the fans, when it comes to this match, it was a decent match. The fans might have missed out on this one, as it did take place on the pre-show. And this was back when pre-show matches weren't shared for fans outside of the live crowd until the DVD was released. So you'll definitely get this on a DVD of WrestleMania 23. And while it is quite surprising that Ric Flair was put in this seemingly random spot out of nowhere, it wasn't a bad match. It was actually a decent match. And at this point of his career, Ric Flair wasn't really working at the top level, which is kind of a shame because he is the Nature Boy. And thankfully, things changed for him after this match. And I should also point out, this was a lumberjack match as well as a tag team match. Therefore, it was the classic case of getting everyone onto the card for a payday. That's basically what this match was. It had plenty going on, as expected, with this kind of match. And it is certainly the weakest of the bunch, which is why it is at number 6 on this list. Coming in at number 5, from WrestleMania 20, Ric Flair and Randy Orton and Batista, who were third of 3/4 that make up Evolution at the time, they took on the Rock and Sock Connection, The Rock and Mick Foley, or Mankind, if you will. And this wasn't a good, again, a decent to good match here. I mean, there's star power in this match, and this kind of had it all. It had bona fide legends in Mick Foley, Ric Flair, a genuine megastar in The Rock, and the future of wrestling in Randy Orton and Batista, all in one match here. And even though the storyline was great here and the wrestlers were certainly stars, it sadly didn't really feature any of the 5 men at their peak. Really, it really didn't. Because of that, this match never reached the full potential that it had. Sure, there were a couple of good funny moments in here where you had Ric Flair. It seemed like Ric Flair was having fun in this match because there was a point in this match where Ric Flair wanted to do the people's elbow while putting his own unique spin on it, the styling and profiling. It's really the most memorable spot in this match, in my opinion, when it comes to standouts with Ric Flair here. However, that does not mean this was a bad match at all. It's certainly not the case. This was an entertaining match with Evolution dominating and doing what they did best as a heel stable in what was a fun match that was worthy of a WrestleMania card. So that's my number 5. The match that comes in at number 4 comes to us from WrestleMania 22, where Ric Flair, Rob Van Dam, Shelton Benjamin, Finlay, Matt Hardy, and Bobby Lashley all had a Money in the Bank ladder match in Chicago, Illinois. So when it comes to this match, I really enjoyed the heck out of this match. It's one of the best Money in the Bank ladder matches there is. And when you think about it, Ric Flair being in the Money in the Bank ladder match, it actually is quite surprising, come to think of it, as it's not a stipulation you often see the Nature Boy compete in. Not really. However, his addition to the match really was a great one. It was never really expected that Flair would even win this match at this stage of his career. I really didn't expect Flair to win this match at all. I really didn't. But having a legend like him involved only raised this match for everyone, and it added some gravitas to the Money in the Bank ladder match. As with any ladder match, this was full of excitement, and the match was certainly a good one. Flair didn't just fill up the numbers either here. He took part in one of the most biggest spots in this match, as Matt Hardy, he hits a superplex to Ric Flair from the top of the ladder in an absolutely crazy bump where Ric Flair had to be escorted out afterwards by a referee and an extra or two, only for Ric Flair to come back a few minutes later. And you see the expression on Finlay. He's shaking his head like, how is this old guy doing this? How is he getting back out? And it just created a really good moment for the Nature Boy himself. That's why this match is at number 4 of Ric Flair's best WrestleMania matches. The match that comes in at number 3 on this list for me, I would have to go with the match of WrestleMania 18 in the Skydome in Toronto, Ontario, where Ric Flair went one-on-one with The Undertaker. So, what do I think about this match overall? I think it's actually a pretty good match, even for Ric Flair standards, because so often than not, Ric Flair usually has the same kind of match most of the time. But in this case, this one felt different. This felt a little bit unique for a Ric Flair type of match here. And when people think about The Undertaker's WrestleMania record, they quickly go to people like Shawn Michaels or Triple H or CM Punk or Randy Orton, Batista, Jake the Snake, Jimmy Snuka, what have you. But his no-holds-barred match with Ric Flair is certainly up there with the best of the best in Dead Man's Run. I mean, to me, this tells a great story, and it has plenty of violence going on to back it up. Undertaker was working the American Badass gimmick at this point, and therefore it was more of a physical style of a match from him as he and Flair went to war against each other. There was blood and violence. There's even a really good spot where Art Anderson comes in and delivers one heck of a spine buster to The Undertaker. It's one of the best spine busters you'll ever see in wrestling. And they still piece together a really good story, as expected from two men as talented as them. It's a great match, and even though it doesn't get a lot of credit it deserves, this does not stop it from being one of Flair's best. Like I said, it's probably one of the most underrated Ric Flair WrestleMania matches you'll see. Even in Ric Flair's career as well, I think it's still very underrated as well. The match that comes in the runner-up position at number 2 from me, I would have to go with the match that he had with the Macho Man Randy Savage at WrestleMania 8 for the WWF Championship, where Randy Savage was accompanied by Miss Elizabeth. I mean, when you think about this match and the build-up to it, before I actually get into the match, you think it's WrestleMania 8. Ric Flair is coming in. He's coming in from WCW. Hulk Hogan was the WWF champ. Uh, was a big time champion at that time, and the story heading into WrestleMania 8 was who's the real champion? What if Ric Flair went to face Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 8? We'll never get that answer because that never happened. So we had to settle for Hulk Hogan versus Psycho Sid at the time, which kind of stunk up the joint. But one of the best things about WrestleMania 8 was the match involving Ric Flair and the Macho Man. Ooh, yeah, Randy Savage. Gotta love it. And where Ric Flair spent a large time working for WCW before he returned to the company, he didn't manage to get one WrestleMania moment in before. Like I said, this took place at WrestleMania 8 as Ric Flair defended his WWE Championship against the Macho Man Randy Savage here. And this is an absolute fantastic match. This is an absolute classic Mania match that is a must-see viewing for any wrestling fan, period, bar none. Both Flair and Savage have such huge personalities. They know exactly how to get the fans involved throughout. They have really good chemistry, great in-ring work. Like I said, two larger-than-life characters that bounce off each other incredibly well. I absolutely love this match, and it's one I highly recommend you to check out. I mean, there's plenty of near falls in this, and the fans in attendance really bought into it, which only makes this match even more special for that matter. That is why really, that's what WrestleMania is all about, right? Getting two of the very best against each other with a gripping storyline, which is what happened there. But easily, the very best Ric Flair match in WrestleMania history was his match at WrestleMania 24 with the Heartbreak Kid, the showstopper, Mr. So-called Mr. WrestleMania, even though that's debatable. It is the match between Ric Flair versus Shawn Michaels in a career-threatening match. What an outstanding match as well. The top 10 best WrestleMania matches of all time, bar none. I mean, really, was there ever any doubt? I mean, when it comes to Ric Flair's greatest WrestleMania match, there's only one that tips the scale. That match is that classic WrestleMania 24 bout with the legend himself, Shawn Michaels, which ended up being his, like I said, his retirement match. The two men demanded the best from each other during the pre-show promos, and they certainly brought it on the night as well. Ric Flair proved he had still an amazing match in him as he worked a terrific back and forth bout with Mr. WrestleMania himself. Well, again, that's debatable, but there's one great spot in this match. Before I get into the actual finish of this, is that there's a moment where Ric Flair was going to do a moonsault off the apron on Ric Flair while he's on the announce table. Ric Flair moves. Shawn Michaels hits the springboard onto the announce table and really hits his chest off the edge of the announce table. It's one of those moments where you go, "Oh, what a moment!" It's one of those memorable moments when you think about this match, but it's not the most memorable moment. It was a match, to me, this was jam-packed, full of emotion. And the fans knew what it was coming down to here, but they really didn't want it to happen. Yes, it's predictable, but it's predictable in a really damn good way. That only made Michael's final sweet chin music with the words, "I'm sorry, I love you," being one of the most historic moments in wrestling history. Then the super kick. Well, it's not super kick, it's the sweet chin music from Shawn Michaels. And it's 1, 2, 3. And you could tell by Ric Flair's expression after the match, he was actually crying. And immediately after the 3 count, you see Shawn Michaels kind of grabs onto Flair and says a few words to him. And then Shawn Michaels, he knew the assignment. He got out of Dutch. He got out of the ring. And Ric Flair is the only one left in the ring. He gets up And the fans cheer, the fans react, they give him a standing ovation. How this match not main evented WrestleMania 24 is baffling to me. Sure, they had Edge versus The Undertaker that night to main event the show, but I would have switched up the card here. I still believe, in my opinion, or my hot take, that Ric Flair versus Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 24 should have main evented that show. I mean, like I said earlier on, it's one of the best Ric Flair matches of his career, and it's one of the top 10 best WrestleMania matches of all time. That's my take on Ric Flair's WrestleMania matches. We'll do a quick recap of those matches as I go on here. So I'll just quickly go over these again, just to give you a view on this. If you just tuned in and you're wondering what I'm talking about, so I'll run this down quick style, if you will. So my top 6 Ric Flair WrestleMania matches of all time: Ric Flair and Carlito versus Chavo Guerrero and Gregory Helms at WrestleMania 23. Number 5, Ric Flair, Randy Orton, and Batista versus The Rock and Sock Connection, The Rock and Mick Foley at WrestleMania 20. Number 4, the Money in the Bank ladder match between Ric Flair, Rob Van Dam, Shelton Benjamin, Finlay, Matt Hardy, and Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania 22. At number 3, Ric Flair versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania 18 in a no-holds-barred match. Number 2, Ric Flair with Mr. Perfect, I might add, versus the Macho Man Randy Savage with Miss Elizabeth for the WWF Championship at the time at WrestleMania 8. And Ric Flair versus Shawn Michaels in a career-threatening match at WrestleMania 24. That is my Ric Flair WrestleMania matches ranked from my least favorite to my most favorite. And this has been episode number 59 of the Rock Out Wild Show. I'm going to leave you all with something called Perspective of the Day, and it goes something like this. You do not need to earn rest by exhausting yourself first. Rest is not a reward. It's a requirement for clarity, balance, and emotional stability. Today is a reminder that slowing down does not mean you are failing or that you're falling behind. It means you are listening to what your body and mind are asking for. Ignoring those signals does not make you stronger. It only makes you tired. Rest allows perspective to return. It helps you respond instead of react. You are allowed to pause without guilt. Productivity is not defined by constant effort or busyness. Sometimes the more responsible choice is to step back and reset. Rest is not a setback, it is a part of sustainable growth. This has been episode number 59 of the Rock Out Wild Show, and I am your host, Just Mike. And on a final note, to all of you watching and listening to this all around the world, get plenty of rest and always do your best.